Welcome back to BS Sports Talk. This is Week 1 injury report.
Yeah, we got some big names on this list,
Some
man.
big injuries
Big
right
names.
off the rip.
I think the biggest one, in my opinion, there are a couple of really big ones. But
Real big
biggest
players.
one
For fantasy implications.
fantasy impact wise, like Marlon Mack going down, man. Achilles out
Yes.
for the rest of the year. Huge for Jonathan Taylor.
Ginormous. If you were a Jonathan Taylor believer
Yeah.
and you took him, this is why you took him.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason I think you took him with the idea that he might split some carries early.
Yeah.
Later in the year, he takes over. Well, that just got sped up 16 weeks.
Yes.
So-
Yes. And Hines.
Huge win.
This is
Yeah.
huge for Hines.
I'm
even.
big on Nyheim Hines,
Yes.
man. I think what we saw, especially with the addition of Phillip Rivers, I mean, the
Yep.
guy threw the backs like crazy. When you look at Eckler
Yep.
and Gordon
What Gordon
last
were
year,
able to do.
I mean, Eckler
This could be your
had
next
over
tandem.
I think it was 108 targets.
Massive.
Yeah, huge, and already showed.
And Taylor caught 6 of 6. I
Yeah.
mean, he went 6 of 6.
Especially
and
after he was getting knocked even
Yep.
in practice a little bit about how he was dropping some balls, but he even had 6 receptions. So.
And he put up almost 15 fantasy points in PPR format,
Yep.
and that's without playing the entire first quarter.
yeah.
I feel like with the Marlon Mack injury, Jonathan Taylor is going to get sped up learning the playbook.
Yep.
The reason why Hines, I think, is going to be valuable is because he knows the team.
Yep.
Being that it was a shortened off season, I think that it's a little bit harder for rookies to come in right away and just take over unless you're Elaire.
Yep. The
but-
exception.
But Taylor, I think once Taylor hits the ground, he's going to hit the ground running hard.
Yeah, I'm loving that backfield. You got one of, if not the best offensive line in
Yep.
the NFL.
Run behind
They
Quentin
talked
Nelson,
about
Ryan
how
Kelly.
they really want to build the run game.
Yep. Compliment
and,
Phillip better.
and they came out and said the reason why we're big on Hines is that they didn't say that Taylor's going to be the main
The bell,
three
yeah.
down back.
Correct. They didn't call him the bell cow.
Yeah, and they didn't say that Hines was just going to be the receiving back. They said they're going to split carries, split touches. And based on Rivers' experience with his previous team, I really do see. I see Melvin Gordon
Yep.
and I see an Austin Eckler.
Yeah,
I really do
absolutely.
think that
And that's a
with
perfect comparison.
with a better offensive line.
Yes.
To tell you the
Way
truth.
better offensive
Yeah,
line.
with a better offensive line. So I'm big on those two guys. I think,
and it'll be interesting to see how the defense plays.
Yeah.
Last year was a pretty solid defense. This year it was giving up some points to Gardner Minshew.
Yeah. I'm in on the Jags.
Minshew
And I like
Magic.
the Jags. Minshew Magic
Yeah.
2.0. I love it.
Now, next one, this is probably the biggest name that's
Yeah.
hurt, and you really need to monitor closely.
Big time.
Michael Thomas for the Saints. Man,
Huge,
getting
scary.
rolled up on, high ankle sprain. You've got to hope that he takes the time to get healthy and doesn't want to rush back because of who he is and the superstar that he is.
I think the scariest thing for me is that his first comment out was that
Yeah.
he feels like he can play this week.
Yeah.
That is scary to me. There's a big difference between a regular ankle sprain
Yeah.
and a high ankle sprain. I'm not a medical doctor. I
Me
do have
neither.
my degree as a physical therapist assistant.
Yes.
I've worked in that field for the last 8 years. I've treated multiple patients with high ankle sprains. It's scary, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot different. And
It's
there's
something
a
that's
high,
very easy to re-aggravate.
Exactly. There's a high risk of re-injury.
Yes.
And not only just to re-injure it, but make it even worse. I mean, he could have a fracture in there
Yeah.
if he plays on this. And even if he does try to play, I'm still worried about starting him because he's not going to be the same. He's not going to be as effective.
And like you said, if you start him, I mean, look, if Michael Thomas they say he's going to play, it's hard to bench him.
Exactly.
But you have to go into the game understanding that there is a solid chance that the way he plays the game, which is quick slants, which is out routes, which is drags, he's got to do some quick burst off those ankles. It'll be a very easy re-aggravation.
Yep.
They'll have to tape it up tight. He may lose a little bit. He's not a burner.
Yep.
Something to really monitor closely. Let's hope that he takes the time he needs to get healthy.
Yeah, I would say at least 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Hopefully that they set him 3 to 4
Yeah.
weeks until he's healthy, 100% ready to go. It could be even longer than that. It could be. I've seen some between 2 and 3 months.
Depends on how soon he tries to push it. Too.
Exactly, and if he re-injures it. So if he's on my fantasy team, I am making sure that I am having some good backups.
Yes.
Check that waiver wire out if you're not deep in the
Traquan
wide receivers.
Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got even
Sanders.
yeah, those two guys are going to bump up.
Yep.
Jared Cook, who's
Yes.
going to be on the team. But those guys should all benefit
Absolutely.
from increased volume in
Yep.
that offense. But definitely something to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
Yep. Next up, we got James Conner. So I'll let you take James Conner from here.
So I'm a James Conner believer. I'm a truther. I get James Conner. I like James Conner as a player. This one hurts me. Sprains his ankle, plays one snap in the second quarter, and then's out the rest of the game. I think what scares me the most is how good Benny Snell
My
looks.
boy Benny Snell. I love that guy.
Benny Snell comes in, puts up 113 yards. He looked better than Connor when he was playing side by side with Connor in the first quarter.
Then you had Samuel in there working in the mix as well, who's no slouch.
No,
I think he's a great athlete.
The longer this prolongs Connor's return to the field, and I saw Pittsburgh say they're going to keep the light on for him playing this weekend. Maybe shut that light off. Just Connor, I love James Conner. Monitor it. If he plays, I'm going to play him. But it's a situation that if you can handcuff him with Benny Snell, I suggest go out and handcuff him.
Yep, I agree. Next up, we got Devontae Parker. Looked good in snaps he was in.
Played pretty well.
4 receptions and 4 targets. But tweaked his hamstring. Deal with the hamstring. It is positive. He did practice. I think it was limited. Which is still a good sign. Still a good sign. We'll see how he does.
Watch it throughout the week.
Yeah, and see what they do.
Thursday, Friday practices. Definitely Friday. See where he's at. Definitely just monitor it if you have to play Devontae Parker. Monitor it if he's out. Look at Preston Williams. He gets a big target share. Definitely just keep your eye on that one.
Another big name. We got 2. We'll cover both of them at the same time. We got Godwin and Evans. Both. Evans was dealing with the hamstring before this game.
Limited in the Saints game.
Still played, which is scary for me, a little risky. But he didn't look great timing-wise. And then Godwin,
took a helmet to helmet at the end of the game.
And I think he practice. I think he practiced the first.
He wasn't on the concussion protocol until today. He showed up today at the facility with signs. Monday, Tuesday, he was fine. Wednesday, though, he showed up with signs.
It's just interesting to me, and who knows if that's something. Maybe they're trying to keep it hush-hush. Maybe he was just trying to kind of hide the symptoms.
Maybe they thought that, we'll just give it a couple days, let it rest. Who knows? Definitely monitor it, though.
It hasn't been ruled out yet.
Getting added to concussion protocol this late in the week, being that it's a Wednesday, it's weird to me. But keep your eye on it. If he's hurt, your boy Scotty Miller.
I think that's the biggest thing. I liked him even before Evans and Godwin were dealing with injuries. I believe 5 receptions on 6 targets, 70-something yards. I think he improves.
Like 12.6 fantasy points, I believe it was, somewhere in that ballpark.
I think he wins even more this week. I think all of the stars are aligning for Scotty Miller.
I agree.
If he's on your waiver wire, pick him up. I said I'm not 100%. Maybe you don't start him yet, like at a flex, if you have a good, a solid team. But if Evans is limited and if Godwin does not play, he's a potential flex this week.
I'm with you there. I think Scotty Miller has sneaky flex playability. He put up with Godwin in the lineup, with Evans playing a little bit. He still put up 12.6 points. That's respectable out of a flex position, especially this early on when players are still finding their footing. It was interesting that Brady seemed to have a very good rapport with Scotty Miller right off rip.
I've said it from the get-go. I think Scotty Miller is Julian Edelman and Wes Welker, but with 4.3 speed.
2.0, 4.3.
Not only can he run the short routes and the slants, but he can beat you over the top, which is something Edelman and Welker could not do.
They could find that opening, but they weren't runners.
And he's going to see, most of the time, if these guys do come back and play, he's going to see, he might be the 3rd or 4th option for defenses to game plan against.
Because O.J. Howard was split out some. O.J. Howard, if those guys are out, watch out for O.J. Howard. Brady threw to him a few times. He caught a touchdown pass. O.J. Howard was somebody that I thought looked presently good. Gronk only had 2 for 3.
I'm not big on Gronk, man. You know, it's something, being out of football for that long. He does have the rapport with Brady, but I think we saw it in week 1. I think
Brady's still learning too. That whole team.
But still, I feel like if anybody that he should have felt most secure with would have been Gronk.
3 targets.
Didn't see much. So I think he might have a couple games here and there, but I don't look to Gronk to light it up and be a top 4, top 3 option.
I don't even know if he'll be a top 10 fantasy tight end this year.
I'm talking about just even on the team. Third, 4th option on that team.
Another injury is Philip Lindsay, turf toe, day to day, getting a second opinion on it, monitor it. To me, that boosts Melvin Gordon's value quite a bit.
Melvin Gordon looked good.
Melvin Gordon looked really good. Now, he did have a fumble. He had a fumble, so that's, but it's, whatever. Royce Freeman, if the injury persists, Royce Freeman might be a nice little play
in there. Yeah, Melvin Gordon, 5.2 yards per carry, 78 yards, a touchdown. Also had 3 receptions in there. I'm liking him.
And that role will expand.
Yeah.
They were playing the Titans. Titans have a good defense and to still put up what he did.
Yeah.
Get you 14 some fantasy points, with a fumble. Melvin Gordon's somebody that I feel like with Lindsey being hurt day to day, and the longer Lindsey's out hurt, the less and less snaps I see him get. So, that's something to keep your eye on there in Denver.
Next up, we got 2 on the same team.
Yep.
You've got A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, both with the Titans. Of course, Brown is a stud. I think they're both dealing with hamstrings, I believe. So it's something to watch. Brown went down and Corey Davis stepped up. Had a really
Corey
good game.
Davis had a very good game against Denver.
Yeah. So it's one of those to monitor, especially if one can go and one doesn't go. Big value on those. If Brown can't go but Corey Davis is in, I'm big on Corey Davis.
Corey Davis is somebody that you'll probably still find on your waiver wire. Doesn't hurt to go pick him up, especially if you have A.J. Brown. That gives you a little bit of a security blanket with if A.J. Brown can't go. I know A.J. Brown's stat line didn't light the world on fire with Denver. He had opportunities. Some of them Tannehill just didn't have the time to get to.
Yeah, and especially that's a name we can put in if you do have a Michael Thomas and you're thin on wide receiver. You say you went Thomas and then a couple running backs. You're not heavy on receiver. Look for Corey Davis if he can go this week.
He could be a sneaky good option because it looked like him and Tannehill were on the same page. And he had that stiff arm on the sideline of Kareem Jackson. He looks like he could finally be putting it all together in year 4.
Yep. Next up, we got tight end Njoku.
Yeah,
that's a big one going down.
I hate to see it.
Yeah, I hate to see it. Actually, did pretty well in the game.
Was starting out nice.
I think it's huge for Austin Hooper. So if
Harrison Bryant even.
I think that kind of opens the door for him to be the tight end 1 here, and we'll see what he can do. I'm interested in this to see what he's all about. Obviously he did very well in Atlanta.
Right.
How much was that offense playing with those receivers
with Ridley,
and Ryan?
Julio.
Yeah, we'll see how he does. I think that's a big one.
He's got to step up because right now that offense looks like it was floundering in week 1. They play Cincinnati this week. I feel like Hooper should be able to take advantage of some of the matchups he's going to have.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't perform, it's another bust. It's another bust Cleveland paid.
I think especially for guys who went out and got Austin Hooper, you're thinking man, he's been a great tight end target with Atlanta. I think he's going to do well in Cleveland. Well, here's the opportunity. This is the best opportunity he's going to get.
And the problem is in my opinion, with Hooper, is he is find the spot in the zone, sit down in it. Baker's scramble out of the pocket every time. I can't sit in the pocket and hit receiver. So Hooper's play style to me is not conducive for what Baker does. I hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping Hooper still is productive in Cleveland and Baker can put it all together.
Yep, agreed. Next up, staying with that tight end position, Kittle. Banged up a little bit. I think it was a knee.
He sprained his knee.
But it's looking good.
They said he's going to take off the entire week, but they expect him to play.
Yeah.
George Kittle to me is not somebody that needs practice reps.
Exactly. I wouldn't be too worried. Obviously, you never know what can happen, so keep an eye out.
If he doesn't play, Jordan Reed.
Huge.
Garoppolo, I think, will. Jordan Reed had rapport with him in the scrimmage. That's a name just to look at. If you don't run a backup tight end, if you don't carry one, and you only sign one for bye weeks, and Kittle ends up, his knee gets worse, swelling, whatever. Jordan Reed's somebody that I think you could look at on the waiver wire to possibly pick up to fill the need.
Exactly. I agree. Next up, Le'Veon Bell.
Bell, hammies. He said nothing's wrong with his hamstrings.
It proved to be an issue. So he's on the IR, short-term IR, which is 3 weeks. Hopefully he'll be back after that, but you never know with a hamstring injury.
I'll be interested to see if he's back with the Jets after those 3 weeks.
That's
just there's always a lot of talks.
We'll see how Frank Gore does. I think Gore has been the guy who they've listed as going to be the number 1 to take over.
They liked him in camp. There was a lot of reports that he was outplaying Le'Veon Bell in camp.
And then, Adams, there was some talk about Adams. He got put in. He did get a garbage time touchdown. But actually, they just signed Kalen Ballage, and they put Adams on the practice squad. So do not pick up Adams.
Yeah.
I'm not big on Balaj either. I think this is, if you're taking anybody, take Gore.
That's if you're desperate. I don't. Honestly, there's not a Jets offensive player that I look at and I want to tell anybody to go out and play.
Exactly.
That's just me.
Unless you're absolutely desperate.
And if you are, you're playing for that first overall pick next year, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, another injury. Last one we'll talk about is Justin Jackson.
Yeah.
He's one some guys were kind of not big on, but they were looking at.
There was potential.
There's definitely potential. I think that guy with his yards per carry, if he just stays healthy and gets the opportunity, I feel like he can be a valuable asset. But that opens the door, I think, for Joshua Kelly.
Joshua Kelly, 12 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, looked good. Looked good. And then kind of interesting, though, with Eckler.
I don't know what's going on there.
I just don't know.
Tyrod was not checking down. He just wasn't. I think Eckler had one reception.
Yeah, one reception for 3 yards.
He
did average 4.4 yards per carry.
Which
got
is
84
nice.
yards on 19 attempts. But that's 9.70 fantasy points, and it's just so weird how Austin Eckler's game was receiving back, and then they're trying to just completely flip the script.
And you didn't take Eckler for in the end of the first, early second, depending on where you're at in your league. You didn't take Eckler to put up 9 points a game. You didn't put up Eckler to take 19 carries with one catch or with one target.
Yeah, you look for him the exact opposite. The way that he's fantasy relevant is to have 10 targets and 5 carries.
Yeah.
Not
like last year at the end of the season when Melvin Gordon came back, he's splitting out a wide receiver.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see out of Austin Eckler. You don't want him carrying the ball 19 times.
No.
So that's a situation to watch in, I was about to say San Diego, but in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's one of those, keep an eye on it.
Absolutely.
Hopefully they get, Eckler back into his normal role.
Yep.
And we'll see with Kelly, see if he steps up. Keep an eye on Justin Jackson. I had him. I dropped him just because I added Nyheim Hines, who I think has more potential. But
I agree.
Keep an eye out. They said Jackson isn't one to keep on your roster right now, or if you do have him and you're set, maybe hang on to him. There's nobody you like.
If you're deep, if you have a deep bench and you have room,
because there is potential.
Justin Jackson is a nice potential stack, especially because I'll be interested to see if they turn Eckler into a bell cow, 19 carries a game.
Right.
If Eckler will hold up. I mean, that's just something that we've not seen yet.
That's exactly right.
So it'll be an interesting week too. I'll be interested to see what the Chargers do.
Yep. All right, guys. I think that's it with the Week 1 injury report. We appreciate you stopping in.
Absolutely.
Watching. If there's anything, as always, that you disagree with, call BS on us in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Get the notifications every time we upload a video. Make sure you like, share with your friends. Anything fantasy football related, we're going to try to be a go-to source for you guys.
You have questions, you hit us up. You guys call BS. We'll answer you back. We appreciate you guys.
All right, guys.